Welcome to the Advice Show, media with a common sense approach. So today there was 20,000 emails that was dumped online from the Democratic National Convention's email server. And in these emails, there's a lot of sabotage that went on against Bernie Sanders. There were collusion with the media to put out stories to remove negative commentary that the Democrats did not like. All this is shown in the emails, trying to minimize the polling locations in one state. We'll show that as well in the emails, but yet the mainstream media isn't jumping on this. And when they are talking about it, it's very minimal. They were speaking about Melania Trump in her speech for about 3-4 days when let off on it, but they're not speaking about this, which in my opinion is much bigger than Melania Trump's speech. But let's go ahead and look at the emails. I wanted to dive into a few of the emails that I thought is something that should point out about the DNC and how dirty they were, how conniving they were, how underhanded that they were to not only Bernie Sanders, but to the voters who decided to vote for him. And we're going to see through these emails their ties to the media and how the media itself is extremely dirty and explains why we have all this corruption, division, and everything that go along with the political process in the mainstream media. So we look at the first email. Now, this first email that we're going to look at is talking about, as you can see here, what Bernie Sanders said, if he was elected, then the DNC leader would be out. So he told us to Jake Tapper that the moment he get inaugurated, she's gone. So up here, they were saying, do you all think it's worth highlighting for CNN that her term ends the day after inauguration when a new DNC chair is elected anyway? Then they respond to it, this is a silly story. He isn't going to be president. Now, why isn't he going to be president? Well, because you know the fix is already in because you're setting the man up. In this email that we're going to look at, this is how they tried to undermine Bernie Sanders in the guise of religion. So this person, right, it might make no difference, I guess make no difference. But for Kentucky and West Virginia, can we get someone to ask his belief? So what they was trying to do is trying to plant someone to ask Bernie Sanders about his religious beliefs. Does he believe in God? He had skated on saying he has a Jewish heritage. I think I read he is an atheist. This can make several points difference with my peeps. My Southern Baptist peeps will draw a big difference between a Jew and an atheist. Now listen to that. They was going to plant people in the audience to question Bernie Sanders about his faith or his lack of faith. Look at there. Now, what does that have to do with public policy? What does that have to do with income equality, college tuition, health care, putting people back to work? What is anything that has to do with that? But they sit there and did this to this man in his own party. Now, he's been saying so long that how they've been undermining him. The mainstream media is a part of it, how they've been undermining him. They all working together. And a lot of people have been saying in the comments on YouTube that CNN is Clinton News Network. And I believe that based on these emails wholeheartedly. Well, we're going to continue to keep looking at these emails. Now, the next one, as we scroll down, Bernie Sanders wanted to debate Hillary Clinton before the primary in June, as you can see here. But then their response to it is laughing at the man. Why don't you take the man serious? He wanted to debate the woman. No, you didn't want the man debating the woman because he was creaming her in debates, bottom line. Now, if we go to the next one here, this is talking about trying to put a story out there to once again undermine Bernie Sanders. This email talks about wondering if there's a good Bernie narrative for a story, which is that Bernie would never, ever have his act together, that his campaign was a mess. So basically in this email, they're trying to put out, let's put some little dirt out here to say he can't have a organized campaign. So which means he can't run the country right because his campaign is all disorganized. Now, this is not coming from the Trump camp. All this stuff is not coming from the Republican National Convention website or emails. This is coming from the DNC. The DNC is very corrupt. Now we're going to look at the next one here. Now this one talks about the Rhode Island primary and how they sat here and cut down the polling places because Bernie Sanders was ahead of Hillary Clinton in Rhode Island. Now, in this email, it says new report shows Rhode Island government opening only a fraction of polling places, which is wrong. You should open up all the polling places for people to go vote. It said Bernie leads Hillary by 4 in the latest poll. And now they say if she outperforms this polling, the Bernie camp will go nuts and allege misconduct. They'll probably complain regardless. Actually, we might want to get in front of this one with an inquiry to the Rhode Island government, even though she's one of ours. So basically what it's saying is the fix was in with the governor of Rhode Island to try to hurt Bernie Sanders. So all this stuff about Clinton, they sit here and did all this stuff for this woman, just a backroom deal. Now, this one is about Donald Trump. And I want to scroll down and let you see kind of what they're trying to do here. So they wanted to put out a Craigslist ad, okay, about Donald Trump. And I want you to look at this, what they wanted to put out. So they wanted to put this junk out, and they said that the job requirements was going to be no gaining weight on the job. We'll take some before pictures when you start to use later as evidence. Must be open to public humiliation and open press workouts if you do gain weight on the job. Willingness to evaluate other women's hotness for the boss satisfaction is a plus. Should be proficient in lying about age if the boss thinks you're too old. Working mothers not preferred. The boss finds pumping breast milk disgusting and worries they're too focused on their children. And you see all this other stuff at the bottom that says send it to, basically jobs@trump.com. This is what the Democrats wanted to do, create a fake Craigslist ad. Now, the person says Mark and Louise Digital created a fake Craigslist job post for women who want to apply for jobs, one of Trump's organizations. This will be a microsite, and we still need to send it to Perkins since we will be pitching this. Need your approval, please. And then the person at the top said, well, as long as the offensive ish is verbatim, I'm fine with it. So basically they was wanting to create a false Craigslist ad and trying to tie in some stuff with Donald Trump, which I don't agree with Donald Trump at all. But this kind of stuff that the Democrats is doing is beyond wrong. I don't care what you say, defeat Trump on policy. And it's not that hard to defeat Trump on policy, especially the things that he says. But you can't do that. You got to do some underhanded tactics. There's some female stuff. But that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she probably missed a female. Now, this one here is, to me, the most bothersome because, we are in independent media. And the point that I'm looking at with the mainstream media was about Mika Brzezinski and them was having a conversation about it being rigged against Bernie Sanders. So they sent an email about it, talking about video requests at MSNBC. And they talking about the panel discussed the democratic process has allegedly been rigged against Senator Bernie Sanders. They talk about what the guy said and everything. Fine. At the bottom, he's talking about he discussed violence at the convention. Mika Brzezinski said the alleged mistreatment of Senator Sanders throughout the Democratic primary process starts, quite frankly, with a person we heard speaking, talking about the Debbie Wasserman Schultz chick. Now, this is what they do after that. Okay, they talking about what was discussed. The dude Jeff Weaver was on. They asked, "Can we pull that clip?" Then the response was, Jeff Weaver, we pulled. Do you want the commentary as well? Yes, please. Okay, give me a few. We'll send on this chain. So basically, the DNC contacted MSNBC to pull an interview and pull a commentary for people not to see it ever again because it wasn't favorable to what they was actually doing. I want you guys to see how dirty the politicians are and the mainstream media and how they all work together. Now, do you understand how the propaganda is out there and they all in bed with each other? See, one thing you don't have to worry about here with me, the DNC will not ask me to pull a commentary because it's not going to happen. The DNC is not going to ask me to pull one of my interviews because it's not going to happen. The RNC or whoever, it's not going to happen because the truth needs to get out there to the people. This stuff is totally and blatantly wrong. What's going on? Also, other emails that I saw out there was they were discussing DeRay McKesson, wanted him to speak for them. They were trying to vet him with Black Lives Matter. They had a bunch of Black Lives Matter emails in the bunch. We're not going to go through and show every last one of them. But this is the thing. The DNC is dirty. They screwed Bernie Sanders. They've been exposed for it. Now, what should you do from here? Now, the people that's going to the Democratic National Convention on Monday, you should be pissed. Your candidate did not get the election fair and square. Bernie Sanders was sabotaged all the way. He was undermined. He could not get anything done that he wanted to do. And everyone that supported Bernie Sanders and accused the Democrats of undermining him, well, now you have your proof. In their rules, it states they cannot lean one way or another. They have to stay neutral, but yet they did not do this. Now, it lets you see how the mainstream media and why the people of America don't trust them. If the Democrats can get certain videos pulled and certain interviews pulled, Republicans can get that too. Your Congress people can get that too. See, they all in cahoots. Same thing about the police. All of them in cahoots together. This is why we have a great distrust of the media and a distrust of the system. This is why I'm telling you guys, you will never have that problem here because I speak up for the truth and for the people. Now, there's a lot of African Americans that vote for Democrat, and you see how dirty they are. We have no friends at all. You can't say the Republicans are your friends because they got a rabid white supremacist as an idiot that's their leader right now. Then on the other side, you got all this going on. So we don't have no good choices at all that we could possibly pick. It's kind of like you want to die by a gun or want to die by cancer. You're still going to die at the end of the day. The thing is, this political process is screwed up. Now, what Bernie Sanders is going to do, I don't know. If I was him, I would be petty as hell and I'd run as an independent and put myself on the ticket. That's exactly what I would do. I would sit back and just take that. I'm like, you're not getting in the White House. I'd rather Donald Trump get in there before you get in there. That's exactly how I would respond to the situation because you're not going to do me dirty like that. I mean, blatantly do me dirty and you got caught. Now, his campaign manager came out saying somebody should answer for this, but nobody's saying a word. Hillary, quiet as a mouse, nothing to say it. Bernie Sanders needs to disavow that endorsement that he gave Hillary Clinton because she didn't earn it at all. It was all fraudulent. It was dirty. It was sabotage. And this is supposed to be the political process. That's why a lot of people say voting don't count. This is why a lot of people say when it comes to national elections, presidents are selected. They're not elected. Because you see all the dirty stuff. Now, and the great thing about technology is that all this stuff is being exposed now. All of it. And which is totally wrong. So people have a lot of decision making to make in the Democratic Party. And I tell people, don't call me no liberal because I can't stand liberal. Don't call me conservative because I can't stand them either. I represent the people and I'm fighting for them every single day. Hit me up in the comments, use your commentaries, subscribe.